I've always kind of considered myself like an entertainer of sorts. I just like making people laugh. Anything I see, my first thought is like, how can I make this funny? Even in like the darkest of times, you see something negative or you're in a situation where like it's just a somber mood. I'm just trying to think, how can I make this funny?
Welcome back to the show, Schmoozers. Coming to you from a studio in Baltimore. I'm David Cobby, and you're about to listen to another amazing episode of Schmoozing Time, the only show inspiring Jews to be proud of who they are and leverage their personal brands. Before we dive into this episode, make sure you're following the show on whatever platform you're listening to this episode on. This ensures you'll never miss another episode. This week's guest is a man with absolutely zero limitations. And when I say zero, I mean zero. While driving across the country and spending thousands and thousands of dollars, he successfully walked onto over 100 Division I football fields and basketball courts, attempting and making three-point shots and or field goals at each one. Despite being sued by Penn State University and hospitalized with a swollen cheek that made him look like Quagmire from Family Guy, nothing has stopped him from his mission of hitting every single D1 school in the nation, attempting to sneak onto each court or field and make a kick or a shot. He's also the king of posting the most random videos in the most random places, racking up millions of views across social media and hundreds of thousands of followers. Please welcome to this week's show, probably the funniest man in Baltimore outside of myself, Josh Big Jank Pokrywka. Big Jank, pumped to have you here. How you doing today, brother?
I am doing great. After that intro, I don't know how I'm going to like follow that up and live up to that hype. I'll do my best, but that was great. That was terrific.
Dude,
I'm glad you pronounced my name correctly. That was very impressive.
I do time. Research. I mean, man, first of all, honor to have you here. I love your videos. Your content is amazing. And the best part is that we're here in Baltimore, man.
Yep.
Baltimore is a city that gets a lot of hate. I just moved here in July. To be honest with you, full transparency, Baltimore was not the first place that I wanted to move after college, right? I went to Maryland. You also went to Maryland, but you grew up here. But why do you love Baltimore so much, man? Like, tell us about your experience living in Baltimore. Like, let's hype Baltimore up so much. I know we were just talking before this. Like, people don't want to come to Baltimore to, I don't know, be on my podcast or go to a Ravens game or an O's game. Like, hype Baltimore up, man. Come on.
I love Baltimore. I grew up in Baltimore County. I've lived here basically my whole life. As you mentioned, went to Maryland and moved to Baltimore pretty much right after college.
Okay.
So Baltimore, I think, is just a very underrated city overall.
Agreed.
I mean, the first things you think of when you hear Baltimore sometimes can be negative.
Yep.
But the positives when you hear Baltimore, the Ravens, the Orioles. I think right there, those are your two best things.
Whoa, those are positives?
Yes. The big positives. Ravens, perennial, contenders. A lot of talent.
Yep.
Ravens games, if you've ever been. I don't know if you've
I went to a Ravens game. Yeah.
Incredibly fun, great atmosphere, great area surrounding both of the stadiums. Camden Yards, one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful ballparks in the country.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, there's kind of like it's just one of those really big community cities where like, it's not like one of those big cities like, New York, LA, where like the community's not the biggest, most important thing.
Right.
If something happens, that's good or bad, the city is really together. Anytime we're in the playoffs, you just start seeing purple and you see orange O's everywhere. They're doing stencils on cars.
Yep.
And then they had the bridge collapse.
Mm-hmm.
When the bad things happen, I mean, the city comes together too. So I think it's just a great collection of people, a lot of history here. I mean, this isn't one of those newer towns. I mean, this place has been here for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going through some tough times. I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, it's not probably the safest city in the country.
Nope.
But they're rebuilding. We're growing in population again. They're redoing a lot of the downtown area. The Inner Harbor is beautiful. So there's a lot of positives about Baltimore that I would urge anyone to at least come visit and go to one of those games, or at least just walk around the downtown area.
Yeah.
It's still beautiful in its own way. It's just kind of like more of an antique-y way because it's older than some of these new modern cities.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more on that. I definitely think that like everybody should. I mean, it's not even like risky to be here. Like people think, oh, it's like dangerous to. No, like you have to get that out of your head because once you get that like prejudice out of your head and you come here and you live here. And I mean, yesterday, like I was running around the harbor when it was like 60 degrees out, and like I'm like, what could be better than this? Like there's not really much better.
Agreed.
So I feel like we just had to start the episode hyping up Baltimore.
Yeah,
like
every city's gonna have its issues.
Yes.
It's gonna have crime. That's just what an urban area is.
Yes.
But like you got to focus on the positives. I'm fairly confident that every big major city in this country has a lot of positives to it that people don't even know. Pick any random city, you go there for a few hours, you can find a lot of fun things to do, or I can find you a lot of fun things to do.
Agreed.
Better yet.
Agreed.
But
yeah,
Baltimore, I love through and through.
Yes, Baltimore's the best, man. And I mean, the real reason why you're on here, obviously, you're doing a lot of stuff on social media, which we'll get into Big Jank and who he is in a second. But a lot of people may not know this about you, but you're Jewish. You're proud to be Jewish. You're wearing your Magen David out, which I love. That's how I initially recognized you.
Yep.
So tell us about your Jewish background. Like, why are you wearing that Magen David? Like, you're not really doing anything related to Judaism on social media. So why do you choose to wear that out in your videos?
So yeah, I mean that just goes back to obviously family. So I was raised, like I said, in Baltimore County, which is, if people don't know, a very heavily Jewish area, which, of course, a lot of suburbs are around cities. But Baltimore County, in the Owings Mills, Pikesville, Reisterstown area is one of the most, heavily populated Jewish areas in the country. So I grew up in that area. My mom is Jewish. My dad is actually not. And so myself and my sister were raised Jewish. And what I'm wearing, the Star of David, was actually, the chain is from my grandfather, my mom's dad.
Right.
So that's why it's a family heirloom to me. The star I got when I think my mom gave this to me when I was maybe like 12 or 13, around when I got bar mitzvahed.
Mm-hmm.
So it just means a lot to me, not only because of my Jewish identity, but because of the family, the familial connection to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't even like really notice that like it's out in all my videos,
right,
or a lot of them, like you said, like it caught your attention, but that's right. That has nothing to do with any of the videos I'm doing. You know what I mean? It's just like something that I like to show about who I am.
Yeah.
I love this necklace. I love how it looks. I love how it feels on me.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of like to have it out. And I mean, even more so in these times when, there's just a lot of Jewish hatred out there. That like, if you want to really get me going, like, get under my skin, like I'm going to wear this even more. You know what I mean? Like, you want to start coming at me about something like this, I'm going to be more open about it and like more in your face about it. But yeah, it's just something that I have always worn my entire life. And it's just something that makes me feel like comfortable. You know what I mean? Like it's something like I take this off like when I was in the hospital, and it's like, you feel like naked. Yeah. Like, what am I doing without this thing on? Like, where is this? It's like, it's just something you get used to. But yeah, my Jewish background, it was amazing. My mom, like I said, raised us Jewish with all the, traditions and culture. And I was bar mitzvahed, and I've, carried that into my life. My fiance is Jewish, and we plan to have Jewish children. So
love that.
Looking to do everything I can to kind of replicate what my parents did for me.
I love that. Speaking of being naked, why is your shirt off in like half of your videos? Can you tell me about that? Like, what's the deal behind that?
Yeah, so anyone who knows me really well knows I like never wear a shirt when I'm at home or when I don't have to. Okay. The only reason I'm wearing one now is because we're like in.
You don't have to wear one now.
Oh, all right. Well, we're in public, so like I try to like, like throw it on for Zoom meetings at work. Like when I'm working at home, when I'm doing anything that it's like not in public. Yeah, I don't have my shirt on. I think I just run hot. Honestly, I'm always warm, and it's just. Like, why would I wear one when I don't have to? It's just so much more freeing. You know what I mean? I can just kind of be myself without a shirt on. It's like, I don't know. It's just, it's just always been like kind of my comfort. Like the second I come into the house after I walk the dog, pop the shirt off. Second the Zoom meeting ends, pop the shirt off. I don't know. Just,
wow.
It's just a comfort thing for me.
Did that start like, what? Did this start like when you started posting videos online, or has this always been a thing?
I think it's always been a thing. So I think this honestly goes back to when I was raised, where my mom is very with the house. When it's summer, the house is really hot. When it's winter, it's really cold. So I was always hot. Yeah. And I think I always run hot anyway. Right. So my shirt was just never on. And then I've kind of just like, that's what I've grown into as like a comfort.
Got you.
kind of thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got some nice chest hair too.
Thank you.
I gotta admit, like
Appreciate
it's nothing like compared to mine. Like
Yeah.
you one up me in the chest hair game all.
Not a competition, but yeah.
It's the
it is what it is.
Yeah. So I guess on the topic of Judaism, you talk about Star of David, talk about, having a bar mitzvah, growing up Jewish, your fiance is Jewish. Like, what does being involved in Judaism mean to you? Like, why is that so important to who you are? Is it more family related? Do you connect with the religion itself? Like, what about Judaism do you really feel connected to?
So I'll start off by saying, I mean, I'm not a super religious person overall. What I think the best part about it is the tradition, the values, and I know you kind of brought it up, the family coming together part of things.
Yep.
Like, just one of my favorite things about the holidays is that everyone is together.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great excuse to go either be with my mom and my mom's family, or a lot of times with my fiance. She has a huge family. So getting to see them a couple times a year around the holidays is just, that's what it's all about.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's the most important thing, is just being, with family and together, more so than, maybe the actual things that happen in the religious aspects. Like, those are obviously important too, and it's important to learn them, like when you're younger, and be educated on those things.
Right.
But for me, the most important thing is just an excuse to be together and be with the people you love. And then going back to kind of what I mentioned before, it's also just, I think, in good and bad times, very important to kind of just showcase who you are and what your identity is.
I love that.
So I don't care if things are going to, things are going great for Israel and for Jews in general, or if they're not going well, which we know that they're not right now.
Right.
I'm going to proudly wear my star regardless. You know what I mean? It's just in all times, good, bad, positive, negative, whatever. So
I love that.
and I think it's a great way also just to connect with like-minded people. Like you said, like you probably wouldn't have seen my videos if my Star of David was not out.
Very true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're
like, and then that's a way you can just kind of like build, friendships and relationships from there too. So
absolutely.
It's all positives.
Yeah. There's I always joke, like, you have like some sort of card when you connect with Jewish people. I feel like the connection's a little bit deeper, right? Because you understand that, like, we come from the same background. We're not necessarily like everybody else. Like, there's a deeper level of connection there, I think. So
Agreed.
I like you, I have that same mentality of like, listen, if people are going to publicly call for us to be wiped off the face of the earth, I'm going to wear my Star of David out even more and more proudly. Like,
exactly.
I just don't understand, like, I talk about this a lot on other episodes, but I don't understand how people are sitting there in fear and not doing anything about whatever is going on. And listen, I'm not even talking about Israel. Like, this is not a politics show. We're just schmoozing here. But I'm saying, if you're a Jewish person and you're sitting inside your house and you're scared, and there's like, what good does that do for you, right? Like, it's just, do something. It doesn't even have to be like, go attack someone, right? Like, I don't condone violence at all.
Right.
But do something that tells other people that you're not scared of who you are. That's really what I think is the main message with wearing my Star of David. Yep. And I know for somebody like you, like, you're definitely not scared of who you are, right? Like, no. Big Jank started in, correct me if I'm wrong, 2021, right? You started posting videos around that time.
That's when I started posting videos.
Okay, that's when you, so wait.
Big Jank started well before that.
Oh, wait, so who, yeah, wait, I totally forgot to ask.
Not to go off a tangent here, but yeah.
Okay, so going back to what we were saying earlier. Big Jank, who, like, how did that name come about? Like, your last name is Pokrywka, which I don't think even ties into Big Jank at all.
No,
so tell us about the story behind Big Jank and who he is.
Yeah. This it's pretty funny, but and it actually goes back to somewhere I just was a couple days ago.
Okay.
I was actually just watching my mom's dog at her house.
Nice.
Where I grew up. And I went to Owings Mills High School, is where I went to school.
Right.
And I went there the other day just to kind of see if I could go shoot around on the basketball court where I played the team.
Nice.
And I did, which was great. But that's where the name originated, was in high school.
Got it.
I was in class with one of my friends, and we were just like jokingly, writing raps down, like making up raps, like, you do when you're a kid. And we were coming up with rap names for each other, and he just called me Big Jenkins. He's like, "You should be Big Jenkins." I was like, "All right, sure, that works." And that just shortened to Big Jank. And then that was high school. I mean, it wasn't really anything in high school. But then I went to college, and I was in a fraternity at Maryland. I was in Teak, and it kind of really, like, that's where it kind of grew further.
Right.
I actually started making raps with one of my best friends from home who I went to college with. And my rap name became Big Jank.
Okay.
And I had a few, moderate hits for college.
Really? Wait, like on SoundCloud?
They were on YouTube. They might be gone now. I think they got taken down. They were, I will say, admittedly, they're pretty vulgar, especially for like a college kid. But you know what it's like when you're in college.
Yeah, I know exactly.
That was where it got really big, and that became like my name, and like everyone knew me in my fraternity as Big Jank.
Awesome.
And I had these, there's, like I said, those funny songs. And then, like, it kind of came back to life when I started making videos again.
Okay.
So, like, I hadn't been called that name in a while, probably.
Okay.
But, like, I felt it better as a brand. Not even as a brand. I just felt it better as, like, a name than saying, hey, I'm Josh. You know what I mean? Like, there's, like, millions of Joshes. My name's pretty boring as it is.
Yeah.
So let's go with something else.
I like
And then, like, it catches on and people like it, and then you just kind of roll with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So you started to make the videos when? So you get the name Big Jank, you go through high school, you go through college. When do you start making the videos then?
I've always made videos like on the side, like jokingly. Like I've always kind of considered myself like an entertainer of sorts.
Right.
Like I just like making people laugh. I like anything I see. My first thought is like, how can I make this funny? You know what I mean? Like that's like literally like even in like the darkest of times, or like you see something negative, or you're in a situation where like it's just a somber mood.
Right.
I'm just trying to think, how can I make this funny? Like, and I don't. I'm my fiance, and I'm sure my friends will say I definitely take that to the extreme sometimes. Like, I tell like 95% of what I say is a joke. It's not real.
Yeah.
So she has no idea if what I'm saying is like true or a joke. But I just try to make everything funny. That's kind of how I've always been. Just try to like lighten things that way. And then I started making videos, I want to say maybe 2 years ago.
Okay.
More like religiously and like spending a little bit more time on them, maybe like
Got
2023. And then I'd have to go back and look at like what my first actual like reel was, or like when my first TikToks were.
Right.
Because I don't even know which one or which ones were the ones that kind of like started to gain like, followings from and like got viral. I know one of the first viral videos I did was the highest person in Maryland.
Okay.
Which was, that was only a year ago. Wow. So I think a lot of like what I've done, like I wouldn't say I've really like done much like exponentially until about a year ago is when I really started to put more time and effort into these things. Like I've done the road trips where this field goal challenge and things like that. I've been doing that.
Got it.
Not really putting them together as videos. Those were kind of more just like for my own purpose, like my own fun. And like I kept a log of all of it, but I wasn't making videos out of it really until probably about a year ago is when I really started to like dive deeper into this kind of stuff and like making more of it.
I see. So you've been doing the road trips for a while, going to these stadiums.
Yeah.
Just you haven't documented it.
Yes. Not to the degree I am now.
Okay.
I documented it a little bit. Like I would just do a video of the field and I do the field goal. That was it.
Okay.
I started documenting it more religiously in terms of like all the behind the scenes and the operations of all that.
Right.
Probably like maybe a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Is when I started to do that more on TikTok, and then I kind of transferred it to Instagram a little later.
Got it.
But yeah, I've just been like a road trip like fanatic my entire life.
I love
like
that.
My parents raised me that way. My parents are very adventurous. Both my dad and my dad was definitely a bit more on the adventurous side and took us on trips all the time.
That's
but
awesome.
I love road trips, so I could talk about those for hours.
Yeah. So where's the coolest place that you've road tripped to?
Coolest place. So I did 6 cross country drives in like a 2.5 year span.
Okay.
And it's been a while since I've done one. Actually, I'm kind of overdue. I think it's been like at least a year.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. The coolest place I've been on any of my trips, I would say, is Alaska, which I've been to.
Yeah.
4 times now with my dad.
That's awesome. But
But road trip wise, it's hard to say because just there's so many cool places out
Yeah.
there. Like it's hard to pick like one place that's like the best
right.
when there's so many cool stadiums I've been to and so many cool places and things I've seen.
Yep.
So it's really hard to pick an actual number one.
Okay. Okay. I noticed you're wearing a Jackson Hole shirt. I'd hoping you'd say that.
Yeah. Well, if we're talking like just from like strictly like beauty, like
Yeah.
that's why I love Alaska so much. But for driving, I drove to Yellowstone and Grand Teton a couple summers ago.
Best.
And those are if I'm talking like road trip in the
Gorgeous.
lower 48, those are the coolest places I've been.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. If we're just talking strictly like for like me personally, like those are the coolest places.
Yellowstone. I went.
Been?
I went when I was in high school, right? Because from Minnesota, it's not that far of a drive.
That's true.
It's like,
Yeah.
I want to say like
15 hours.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we stopped in like Sturgis, which is in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Saw like all the bikes and stuff, and then we made our way to Yellowstone. It was just like I didn't appreciate it then. Like it was, you know what I mean? Like
when you're younger, it's hard to.
Yeah, I was
you feel
like
you're on a trip with your parents, and it's like
exactly. I was with my brother.
I have to be there.
Yeah,
it's still awesome, but like,
it
you
was,
didn't plan it. Like,
right. Like I think that it was like the start of high school, so I think that like really started my appreciation for. It's funny, I don't like to sit in a car for a while. Like that's not my thing. Like I personally, like I'm not big on like, oh, like let me go drive like 2 hours to go here and come back. Like that's not my thing. But I do love nature and being in nature and going on hikes, like you said. So like that's I don't know, that I think really when we're talking, and you know, you're here today because you're very big on social media, but I really think when you take a step back and you look at how my generation and people that are my age have become, right? We're so focused on our phones all the time.
Yeah.
It's like we completely ignore the beauty. And it's like, it's very sad because, I mean, you go even to a place like Yellowstone, and what's the first thing that people do? They take out their phone and they take a picture.
Yep.
People don't sit there and like appreciate the moment, which I hate.
I know. I will admittedly, I do a lot of the same. And
Right.
not just because I like making videos, but because it's just, like you said, it's something you do because you want to capture it so that you can look at it and relive it whenever you want. Like,
Right.
I think it's important to also have pictures and videos.
Yes.
It's just unfortunate that it takes away from, like, living in the moment more. So something I started doing on my trips, especially when I go to stadiums, and since I started doing more, like, religiously, like, filming and spending all, like, because I try to be in and out quickly so that I can go to, like, sometimes I'll do like 10 stadiums in like a weekend, and I need to like really like plan my time like meticulously.
Yeah.
So something I started doing not long ago is I'll spend like a good 5 or 10 minutes when I'm done taking videos, just like sitting in the stands and just kind of, or like sitting on the field and just kind of like taking it in for myself for a little bit, just to make sure that like I can mentally remember all of this,
Right.
aside from just making the video aspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, a place that was actually funny for that. Did you go to Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, yeah. So I drove through Minnesota.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew that. On my way to Yellowstone.
Okay.
And I drove through the Dakotas, and I went to Mount Rushmore, and that was like you take a picture of it, and then you stand there and stare at it for a few minutes, and there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where like you can't spend a ton of time there.
Right.
There's nothing to do like actively, like where you're at Yellowstone and stuff. You can hike around, but that was like a thing where I tried to sit there and stare at it and like mentally like take it in for as long as I could until like, I mentally got exhausted just staring at the same thing. I was like, I need to turn around and do something else.
That's crazy. Like how quickly you go to places is just like it's amazing to me. Like I don't know how you have the energy to do that. Like that's pretty impressive.
Energy drinks, coffee. I think I have a natural pretty good energy about me, but like and like you were saying on road trips where it's not obviously, that fun to sit in the car. See, my mindset is like, if you have a road trip that's, 4 or 5 hours and you just to get somewhere, like that sucks. Like I have to sit in the car for 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
So what I do, and I do this whenever my fiance and I even go on trips to like Western Maryland or like New York or wherever, like I'll always plan in a couple stops so that you have something to look forward to every like hour.
I like
so
that.
Like my usual thing is maybe I'll have 8 hours of driving to do in a day. No joke, I'll probably have 8 stops. Like I'll do probably 4 or 5 football stadiums.
Wow.
And then I'll do like 2 or 3 other random, like this is the largest, there's where was it? Minnesota. The world's largest raspberry.
Is it Minnesota?
Is it raspberry? I think it's raspberry.
I know we have the world's largest.
It's in Hopkins, Minnesota, I believe, if you know where that is.
Yeah, Hopkins is right near where I live.
I think it's the world's largest raspberry.
Really?
Yeah. So like stuff like that. And
I
then
did not know that.
And then driving through the Dakotas, there's like the world's largest buffalo, the world's largest Holstein cow. Just like, so just like, I'll look at a map and I'll zoom in as close as I can and like just like scroll along like the route I'm gonna take,
right,
until I can find like a random like, oh, this is a hilarious historical stop. You know what I mean? So like,
it's amazing.
That's a way to also kind of mix it up, so it's not just like 8 football stadiums in a day.
Yeah.
Like my mom comes on a lot of these trips with me, and
That's awesome.
like you say, like I have the energy for it. My mom's much older than I am, obviously. Like I kind of feel bad putting her through going through all these stops and getting up at 6 a.m. and doing all this stuff. So I try to mix it up with a few like maybe I'll check out like the downtown of Birmingham walk around for half an hour, see what's there, just stuff like that too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know you played basketball in high school. Did you also play football? Like where does the football love come from?
I did not actually. So I played football, I think 1 year when I was like 12, like in middle school, and it was fun. But like,
right.
I remember, and my mom always jokes to me about this, that like I stopped playing because I didn't want to, like, she said I didn't want to hit people. I felt bad like hitting people. She's like, yeah, it's probably not a good idea to play football if you're. That's kind of what the whole game is. But I mean, I wish I played in high school because I think my competitiveness and mentality changed by the time I got to high school.
Right.
But I transferred into Owings Mills in my sophomore year.
Okay.
And when I went there, I remember there was like, they had this streak of losing like 50 games in a row.
No way.
The high school team.
Oh my God.
And because of that, like I transferred there to be with near my friends again.
Yeah.
None of my friends played.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a lot of when you're playing sports in high school is just kind of like being there with your friends.
Yep.
So I played baseball too, which I liked.
Okay.
But I did that mainly because it was fun with my friends.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that much of a passion for me,
right.
the way that basketball was. And football, my dad's been taking me to Ravens games since I was a little kid.
That's awesome.
So we have season tickets together. I haven't missed a game since the 2006 regular season. So I've been to like almost 20 straight years of Ravens home games. I think I've totaled up. It's like 150 or 160 by now or something. Wow. But I wish I played because I think it would have been something I would have been good at. But it was kind of the fact that like none of my friends were playing. So like I don't really want to spend like hours and hours a day playing football.
Right.
If my friends are doing it with me kind of thing. Looking back, I kind of regret that.
Right.
Because I think it would have been fun. But so I started picking up the field goals kind of more so as a fun way to do something when I'm on these road trips by myself. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of them I would go on with either a friend or my mom, and no offense, my mom and I aren't throwing the football like 30 yards back and forth. Right. So as a way to kind of do something by myself on these trips, it's like something you can do individually, just kick a field goal.
Yeah.
So I started doing it for fun as just like a hobby.
Right.
And it kind of just like gained steam. I know if you look at my videos, I'm not good. I'm not technically sound, anything like that. I have no idea what I'm doing. I tried to spend a little bit of time teaching myself, like from YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And like I didn't have a great soccer background.
Okay.
Which a lot of the players do these days.
Sure.
So I kind of just like wing it, honestly. But it's become a fun way to just be able to do something by myself where I don't need like to be with someone else to throw a touchdown pass or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, just going into the whole going into like the whole, I know we were just talking about road trips and then also just like getting into stadiums. Like I've always, so when I went to Maryland, right, and I'm sure you know this, like sneaking onto the football field is the easiest thing in the world. Like you literally, I mean, you past like 10 o'clock, there's no security there. There's literally like a tunnel. But you've gone to over, what's the tally on that right now? 150, 160?
I think I'm at, in terms of Division I, I'm at like 133, I want to say. But I've been to a bunch of like smaller Division IIs. Like bowl stadiums that don't host like a one team, or like I've been to some high schools. I mean, I've been to, if I look at like my field goal challenge playlist, I think it's at like 180 or something like that. But I've been to, so if people don't know, the Division I for football is split up between FBS and FCS. Yep. So I think it's like 260 total. I think I'm like right at half, like at 130 or something like that. And it's like 70 FBS and like 63 FCS.
Wow.
But it's funny that you brought that up. Maryland, I never actually did that when I was in college.
What?
I heard about people doing it, but I never did it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I did it for the first time, I think a year ago now. I went back. I think it was last March, a year ago, and I did a day trip where I did Georgetown, Howard, which are two FCS schools, and then Maryland, and it was super easy to get into Maryland. It was a really cool one because it's like, I went there, obviously. My freshman year, I lived in the dorms, like which are right next to the stadium.
Yeah, right
sure
there.
You know,
right
like,
there,
yeah, I actually, like, I wasn't surprised at how easy it was because I've heard people talk about it, but that was a special one just because it was Maryland and being at home. It was a really cool one to be back in Maryland.
So, what was the hardest stadium that you've had to sneak into? Like, I know I was stalking your page a couple days ago. I saw you got locked out of like some sort of suite or something, and then you had to like, I don't know, but I guess like you've gone to now, let's call it 180 to round up, high school, D1 and D2, D3 schools, what was the hardest one to get into?
Hardest one was definitely LSU.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you watch like the full video, which I know is on TikTok, you have to like shorten things kind of for reels on Instagram.
Yeah.
But that was definitely the hardest in terms of like most time spent.
Okay.
So I probably spent like a good hour trying to find a way in. Wow. And I usually, so when I plan these trips, I try to schedule like 1 hour per stadium as like just like blocked off time. Like I'm saying, if I have, 8 hours of driving and 8 stadiums, it's a 16-hour day. I try to block off, and I I limit like food and bathroom as much as possible on these trips. I got to spend time going to these stadiums.
Right.
LSU, I did at least one full lap from what I remember, and I think on the second or maybe like end of the second lap, I finally found like the smallest of like ways to kind of like wiggle my way through, kind of. And I do things just to be clear, like legally, like I'm not jumping over these fences and like picking locks and things like that.
Right.
So, what I'll usually do is like I'll go around. I'll do one like lap where like I don't look that closely at things and just see if there's like an obvious open door. Like at Maryland, like I'm sure you saw, you walk right.
Yeah, you walk right.
And I would say like of those like 180, I would say like 75-80% you're getting on the first try, first lap around. Like you'll see like an obvious open door, or like you just by pulling some of the doors, one of them will be open.
Right.
And then I'd say the other 20%, you have to do a bit more like work in terms of like maybe going around a second time and looking like closer at like, oh, I missed this door the first time, or I missed this little like nook and cranny, or what you call it, like to get in. And then there are a few, like you said, where I think I went to like my first 100 without ever failing. Wow. But now as I've done it more and I've ramped up like the last like 6 months to a year, I've done a lot more. There's like 4 or 5 stadiums I have not been able to get into. Okay. That I have like vendettas against now, kind of.
Which ones?
The first one I couldn't get in was South Carolina. Okay. University of South Carolina in Columbia, South Carolina. After that were some like, as you go to some of the bigger ones, I mean, I know I had gotten lucky in the past because a lot of it's about timing. Yeah. I knew it was going to catch up to me that I'd hit a string of bad luck at some point. Right. So on a trip I went to, in the same day, I couldn't get into Michigan State and Notre Dame. Okay. Which I had heard, again, these were like fortresses basically to get into. Washington State, I think, is like the 4th one. And then this last trip I went to, I couldn't get into Auburn or Florida State, which were both under construction. Like there was no field to go in on one of them. So I think I'm at 6 now that I haven't gotten into, which, anything like I said before, like you don't get me something or don't give me something, I'm going to be more fired up about the next time around. So I'm going to be back at those, and I've said that. But yeah, it's those are a few that like I'll spend an hour going around multiple times, and you got to give up at some point. Yeah, I got to move on and let them take the win. Are you
going to go back to Penn State, or are you done with that?
Yeah, so Penn State was an interesting one. I'll just dive into that. So,
yeah, I want to hear about that.
Yeah, I went there. That was last summer, and I think they were also doing some construction. A lot of these stadiums in the off season, they're almost always renovating or updating something. Right. And I was like shocked at how I kind of just walked right in. Like this was one of those where like it took me 5 or 10 minutes, and like there was a gate that was just open. Wow. Like and the video's there, like you can see it. Yeah. And then like another gate's open, and then the steps to the field are open. And I was just kind of sitting there, and I'm like, this is, it's like the 3rd largest stadium in the country, I think. Yeah, that's like 100,000 people. And I'm like, kind of just walked right in. Sometimes it's a little like, I'm like, is something, what's going on? Yeah. How did I get here? Yeah. So I walked right in, and what I usually do on a stadium like that, because I don't know how like much they're watching on like security and footage and things like that. What I'll do first is I'll go for the field goal. Okay. As opposed to like doing like my full like routine of videos and like stats and historical things and stuff like that. So I go on the field, I make the kick like right away. I made like a 30-yarder, and I was like, all right, nobody's bothered me yet. I'll back it up to 40 yards. That's my default's usually 40. I'll just try to go to 40 unless it's like a big stadium like that. So I did that. I went up to the highest point in the stadium. I was the highest person at Penn State Stadium, which had a beautiful view from up top. These big stadiums, you get all the way up. I mean, it takes 10, 15 minutes to get all the way up to the top. Yeah.
I was just going to say, especially Penn State, you can see like the mountains and everything. It's gorgeous.
Right. Gorgeous. It's a beautiful view. So yeah, you've been too. Yeah, everything was fine. Like I was there for, a good hour. No one said anything to me. I walked out. I left. I was like, wow, this is such a great experience. Like I love Penn State. And then a couple months later in the mail, I got a notice of a trespass citation from them. And so, yeah, apparently, I guess they saw either my video online or from their security footage that I went in there, or both. I don't know. And like, honestly, I was a little surprised this hadn't happened yet because I'd been to over 100 at this point. I was like, I was thinking the LSU one. I was like, that took a while to get in. Like, that's a big stadium. Like, I hear security's big. It's Baton Rouge. You know, like it's big security down there.
Yeah.
So I knew this was going to come. I knew this day was going to come. And then what I did was, I was debating, do I just pay the fine and move on with my life? But I actually fought the ticket and went to court in Penn State, and kind of explained to the judge, that I walked in and it was wide open. You can see from the videos, there was nothing saying I couldn't go on the field. And he kind of agreed and was just like, yeah, you're right. Like, you just walked in. There wasn't something that stopped you or told you couldn't. And they just tossed it out. Wow. So that was a huge win. Yeah. That was cool. Yeah. I mean, so I donate to charity for all these kicks anyway.
Right.
Like, I was debating, like, do I just donate to the school or something to, like, try to, like, give back to, like, me going on their field if they want to, like, punish me somehow. Like, I'd rather just donate to the school or donate to something that's more worthwhile. But yeah, that was the first time and the only time I got an actual citation. I have been kicked out, escorted out of another 4 or 5 stadiums that I got into.
Which ones?
So there's a couple funny stories there. The funniest one was not in the U.S.
What?
I'll start with the U.S. story. Okay. University of Georgia. Okay. This was about a year ago. I think it was December of like 23, and I was with my mom. And I believe, and you hear rumors from like other people doing similar stuff like this, like, oh, Georgia's impossible, you can't get in. Yeah. They have sensors on the field, is what I heard. So I was like, okay. So I do the same thing I usually do. I get on the field and I do my kick right away, like 20, 30 yards. I'm like, I got to get out of here because I heard there's sensors. And I started hearing the sensors going off saying like warning, just like warning. And like, I was like, is this for me? Like, so I kicked a field goal. And fortunately, a tour of people came through. Like, these stadiums do tours a lot. Yeah. In the season and the off season. And there was a tour of people on the field. They started kicking field goals. Like, a little kid came up, and I was like, all right, now I kind of blend in with like the group of the tour. And then security came, and they said the sensors went off. And they're going around, they're like, are you supposed to be here? Are you supposed to be here? And then like the tour guide's like, wait, that guy's not with us. Points right at me, and it was reminding me of Superbad, the who's that guy kind of thing. And that was kind of when I was like, yeah, they were all on the field. I just walked on and came on too. It didn't seem like it was a big deal. Yeah. And they escorted me out, and they were friendly, and they were just like, yeah, like, you're not supposed to be on here kind of thing. And like, just don't come back. Damn. But where the story went bad is that I left my car keys, which I take my car keys out when I'm kicking, so I'm a little lighter. Right. I'd left them on the field because they hurried me off so fast I didn't go back to get my stuff. Oh, no. I walked all the way back to my car. My mom was waiting. I was like, shit, I don't have my car keys. I was like, they just told me I can't ever go on the field in my life again. Right. It's like, how the hell am I going to get my car keys? So I said, Mom, I'm going to direct you how to get down to where my car keys are. So she sneaks in. She sneaks onto the field. The alarm's going off. So she can't find the keys. She's calling me. She's like in the end zone. I have a funny video of her just like walking around the end zone at Georgia. She's like, starts like crying. She's like, oh my God, this is horrible. We're never going to make it home. Like, we're going to go to jail. Eventually she found them, and, we left, and it was fine. But it was just, I felt so bad for her. I was like, I can't risk going back on there. They told me never to go on there again. Oh, like, you can do this, Mom. Like, I believe in you.
Oh my God, you lost your car keys in the end zone.
So now I have to like double and triple check I have my car keys, because I take like whatever I have with me out, like my car keys, or if my wallet's still in my pocket. Like I got to go back and make sure I have everything before I leave. So that was a funny one. I've been kicked out of, like I said, a few. Like, I was at Clemson a few weeks ago, and they kicked me out after I was done. It's usually after I'm done, like what I'm doing. Like, it takes them a while to like come down and be like, you got to leave it. Boise State, they kicked me out too, but after I did everything. The other one that was really kind of wild was when we were in, my fiance's family took me on a trip to the UK last summer, and that's where we got engaged. Okay. And I was trying to find like random, like, they don't really do football as much over there. But like soccer. They're real football. They would call it. And I went to the stadium. It was like the National Stadium of Ireland in Dublin. And I walked right in, and they have what's called Gaelic football. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's kind of a combination of like soccer and football. It's interesting.
How does that work?
I don't really know the rules. I tried to like learn them like the brief time I like studied like the history about it and stuff, but it's their form of like football that had goalposts, because I wanted to find something that had goalposts, not just like a soccer goal.
Right.
And I went in there, and I had like one chance at the kick, and then the security guy like yelled at me and was like, "What the hell are you doing here? Like, you can't just walk on the field." I was like, "I don't know. I'm American. Like, I don't know. In America, I just walk right in. What do you mean I can't do that?" And he like obviously wasn't happy, but like kind of just was like, "All right, don't do that again," kind of thing. And meanwhile, I separated from my fiance and her family to do this. Like, I was like, I'm gonna go do my own thing. You know, they're all like, "Yeah, please don't get in any trouble. Don't get arrested. Like, we don't want you getting in trouble. In Ireland."
Man.
I came back and was like, "Yeah, that's kind of what happens." I got I got out of it without any issues. But beautiful stadium. It was amazing. I had to watch. Apparently they had like the semifinals of like the big Gaelic tournament that weekend.
Okay.
They weren't thrilled about me going out on the field, but I don't wear cleats, and I use a kicking tee so that I'm not like kicking off the ground. So I make sure I leave everything the same way I found it.
Right. I feel like you do it in a ethical.
I try to do it in as kosher way possible.
Yeah, there you go. Most kosher way possible.
Yeah, like I try to leave everything, and sometimes I try to like at Penn State. If you look at the video, I was cleaning up trash on the field. Like, I was like, I love it here. Like, this place is great. You know what? I'm gonna do my part, clean up some trash.
Penn State.
It's like, give me a ticket. I did some work for you guys.
Oh my God. Wait. So I honestly I did so much research on you, and I've watched like so many videos. I did not get the pick up on the charity part of your kicks. So tell me about that. Like, why do you do the kicks for charity? Like, what's the story behind that?
Yeah. So in the past, I actually had another thing I started. I ate asparagus every day for like 4 straight years.
What?
I get into these like streaks, and I just kind of can't stop. And anytime like I think anytime something like gets big, it's nice to have like a charitable aspect to it, so that it's not just about me anymore. It's about like, something bigger than myself.
Right.
So for that, I started raising money for No Kid Hungry, which is just a big nonprofit that raises money for, children in this country who don't get enough food.
Yeah.
Usually. And I figured it made sense because I was eating asparagus. I was like, there's something food related.
Yeah.
I stopped that finally. And then when this got bigger, I wanted to just also add a charitable aspect to it. At first, I started raising money for Barks, which, do you know what Baltimore Animal Rescue?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah. But it didn't really make as much sense because it wasn't as like national.
Right.
So I switched then back to No Kid Hungry.
Okay.
And it's just a way so I donate $5 for every field goal I make when I get onto a stadium.
That's awesome.
And then out with the 3-point shots, same thing. So it's just a way to kind of have like another goal, like another meaning to it. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
And even if I don't get in, I still donate. Like I say that at the end of my video. Like,
wow.
I spent the time and I made the video. I'm like, I'm going to donate. But it's just kind of a way of making it more meaningful than just like some guy walking on the field kicking a field goal for his own fun.
Yeah.
Like, now we can add like a layer of like, Penn State gets mad. It's like, hey, that's like
it's
$5 for charity.
Yeah, come on.
That was they say it, every dollar is 10. That helps generate 10 meals for kids. That's 50 meals we just gave kids.
Yeah, and Penn State wants kids to go hungry now. So it's like,
no, I love Penn State. I'm not trying to trash.
You like Penn State? How do you like Penn State? You went to Maryland. You grew up. How do you like Penn State? I'm sorry. Like, I'm not even from Maryland. I like literally the first thing I do when I go to Maryland is people are like, you cannot like Penn State. I'm like, one of my best friends goes to Penn State, or he went to Penn State for undergrad. Listen, when I visited there, I had the best time. Like they
ton of fun.
I mean, they know how to party. Like they're a fun group of people. But how do you like Penn State? Like it's just like, I don't know. I have something against people in the state of Pennsylvania. I think you do too. I mean, listen, you got.
Yeah, sorry. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, like, you got kicked out of Penn State, you got sued by Penn State, you got slapped by a Steelers fan, like, dude, like, how do you find it in you to come on here and say, I like Penn State still?
I mean, I hear what you're saying, and it all makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's simple, like, at least from the college aspect, I don't hate any team.
Okay.
I think every stadium I go to is cool. Every arena I go to is cool.
Right.
Some are obviously better than others. But like none of them like are suck, or I'm going to say like I hate them. You know what I mean? Like I don't like have any sort of animosity towards any of these schools.
I like that.
I think they're all really cool in their own unique way. They all have history that I like to bring up. They all have stud players that I like to bring up and things like that.
Right.
What I what I will say I hate is, like the NFL rivalries or like the Orioles rivalries with the Yankees. Like I'll say I hate the Yankees or I hate the Steelers. And like, while I do respect them, I hate them just from a fan perspective.
Right.
But I think it's also because like, maybe I just don't care as much about like rooting for, like I root for Maryland. My dad went to Duke. He raised me as a Duke fan. So,
right. You told me this,
so,
yes.
So I kind of root for both, but it's not enough where like, I'm going to hate, like I don't hate North Carolina because I was raised a big Duke fan.
Right.
I probably did when I was a kid.
Right.
Now as I got older, like I don't care. Like, and I think it's better that way, that I don't like hold like grudges against these teams or like hate them. Like they're all cool in their own like unique individual way.
Okay. I honestly respect that because I'm like if they're a rival, like keep them away from me. Like the Packers, forget about them. Like,
well, yeah, I think it's right because if you care enough about it,
Yeah.
like maybe like someone like if you care more about like Maryland basketball or Maryland football, then you're gonna hate like the rivalries. But like I like them, but it's not like my life. Like the Ravens are like kind of my life. So like anything that gets in the way of the Ravens, I'm gonna be pissed about.
Right.
But like that's not my life anymore to watch like Duke or Maryland compete in football and basketball.
So another good big Jank story is you getting slapped in the face by a Steelers fan, and I think that made a lot of big waves on social media. I mean, that was one of the first posts that I saw of you.
Yeah.
And I know you. I mean, I think you said before that you've gone to like multiple games in Pittsburgh, had no problems at all, but that it was just that one instance. And I know, I mean, whatever happened, but like, do you still feel like you hate Steelers fans as a whole now that instance happened, or is it still kind of like they're Steelers fans, they're going to be annoying, but I don't really hate them that much?
In the moment, I did, and probably in the ensuing few days, I did.
Yeah,
but you can't lump everyone in the group of like one individual or even a group of individuals.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Like there's Ravens fans that suck too, and people like, which we obviously in the news. Like there's bad and good fans on every side.
Right.
Like there might be more in some fan bases than others.
Right.
Which maybe the Steelers are. I don't know, but there's also a ton of nice Steelers fans.
There
are. So yeah, I mean, and especially after that we blew them out like twice at home.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that kind of like killed any like potential grudge I would have had against them anyways. Like, right after that happened, obviously we didn't win the Super Bowl, but we blew them out in the playoffs. So I was like, you know what? I feel like this has kind of been enough karma. Really. I don't need to hold a grudge anymore. And I've been there. My dad and I go almost every year. So that's why I've been there, I think 9 or 10 times now.
That's awesome.
And that was the first time I really had any like, maybe not the first time, maybe like the second time I've had any real like altercation.
Mm-hmm.
My dad and I are both very passionate, and we, root for our team strongly and wear our colors. And there's some people who will call you like a lot of bad names.
Yeah.
Like, are not afraid to like push you around a little bit because you're in their stadium.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Bathroom is where it gets dangerous. People start dusting you up in the bathroom, and it's like my dad and I are looking for each other, like, Josh, where are you? Like, I need backup, kind of thing. And
God.
like, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna go back. We're gonna keep going back. I'm not gonna stop. And yeah, it happened. It is what it is. I could have handled myself better. They also could have handled themselves better. It is what it is. This is what happens when people are really passionate about sports sometimes.
Can I ask you, why are you such like a positive person, right? Like, I mean, again, throughout this entire episode, like the main thing that I've got from you is that you like to make people laugh, and you really don't, like you said, lump people together, right? One bad instance of a Steelers fan hitting you, like, that doesn't mean all Steelers fans are better or are bad. So where does that come from, right? Because I feel like a lot of people now, I would argue 99.9% of people are not like that, where one instance that's bad that happens to them means that it'll happen to them again and again and again. So where does that mentality come from? Is it just like experiencing life? Is it your parents? Like where does that come from?
I think it's just like you realize when something bad happens or something that frustrates you happens. I mean, I guess it's hard to control your emotions in general. Like, you're going to be upset about it, obviously. But if control what you can, and if you can somehow just, like, pull your way out of it and, like, turn it into a positive and, like, make it something positive, or just put it behind you so you can focus on bigger and better things that are more important, it's just not worth the time of being upset about.
Agreed.
What it comes down to. Like, we only have so much time here. Like, there are things that are going to piss us all off. There's things that piss me off, and I try to get over them just as quickly as I can, on to something else that's, like, fun and positive, because it's just like you can lament things as much as you want. The only thing that really laments me for a while is when the Ravens lose in the playoffs, and I'll like that's one where it's like really hard to dig out. The only thing that really helps is time. As you would know, as a big football football fan. But it's just not worth the time and energy to like focus on being upset. So if you can, I know it's hard to control. You're upset about something, like it's okay to be upset.
Right.
But I just try to then move on to something else that's like positive, or like I didn't even mean to make that a video. Like
It just
after
happened.
the guy slapped me in the face,
Yeah.
like, a very nice Steelers fan came up to me and was like, "Hey, like I filmed that whole thing. Like that was ridiculous. Like what? That was insane. Like do you want
Wow.
the video?" I was like, "Sure." Like I didn't even know someone videoed it, and I didn't know I was going to post it, but I figured I would, and then what happened. But there's just not enough time in a day, in a life, to like focus on like negative things, in my opinion. I
love that, man. That mentality is just like what I try and strive for. Like I feel like it's hard. I mean, especially for somebody like you that's posting online all the time and like wants their videos to do really, really well. Like it's tough, man. And it's not easy to have that mentality.
No.
So
I get a lot of. I'm sure, like you probably see, like anyone who gets a lot of views on things is going to get a lot of
you get a lot of
comments, and I get a ton of like anti-Semitic comments.
Oh, I'm
things,
sure.
You know what I mean? Which like at this point you got to just like be like, come on, like this, like you said, has nothing to do with the video.
Right.
I don't think I've done any video that's about my Judaism.
Wow.
Maybe one.
Yeah.
Maybe where I've talked about it, but like I haven't done like a video like that even focuses on that.
Right. Right.
So it's just you got to just. These people are like losers.
Yeah.
Like,
No, they're
let them be upset.
Exactly.
Not you.
So I got one final question for you before we wrap things up. So, I mean, earlier we were just talking about you trying to monetize on your brand and have potentially more sponsorships and doing. I mean, you have this mission already in mind of hitting all of the D1 stadiums and kicking a field goal, shooting a 3-point, whatever. But then there's also that aspect of like monetization, right? You kind of have a lot of goals ahead of you.
Yeah.
So if there was like one thing that you needed to accomplish within the next year for your brand, for your online presence, what would it be?
It's a really good question because there's multiple things.
Okay.
Like if there's one thing, like there might be one most important thing. I just want to keep growing. I mean, I want my following count to keep growing. I want to keep making videos that make people laugh and entertain people. I mean, that's obviously like number one for me is just continue to do what I'm doing because I love it. Like, I'm passionate about it.
Right.
I mean, I would love to obviously make, more money from it and monetize more if I can. So that's obviously a goal.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, first is just hitting as many stadiums as I can. That was my original goal when I started doing this, just for fun, was like, I want to go to every D1 stadium. And, maybe it's not that realistic. I'm eventually going to have a family and kids and hoping to do it before then.
Right.
Got to kind of ramp it up if I'm going to do that.
Right.
Not that easy to bring like a, little kid to Iowa's football field and field goal together. But I would say it's just really just to keep growing, honestly, and like keep doing what I'm doing, just entertaining people.
I like that. It's I mean, I like that you kind of deflected it as like, you want to make money, but also it's more about getting that goal of 260.
Yeah.
It's not at the end of the day. It's not. I mean, I haven't even mentioned this. Like you have a day job. Like you're a mortgage loan officer, right? Like
the deflection is something that we learn a lot at work. So that's why but they teach us how to be very good at deflecting questions. I work at a sales job as a mortgage loan advisor at a mortgage company. So there's a lot of deflecting in that. It wasn't like meant to like not answer your question. It was just like I'm kind of trained to do it.
No, that honestly, that is how you give good answers on podcasts. Is like if you're asked like a question, you answer it a little bit, but then you give an additional answer. Like deflecting, I think was the wrong word there, but
no, it kind of
you answered.
I know what you meant. I know exactly what you meant.
But Big Jank, this episode was phenomenal, man, and obviously we're both in Baltimore, so we'll be seeing each other a lot, and maybe we'll hoop together or something. And but yeah, man, where can people find you on social media if they're not already following you already?
So Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. The name should be the same on all of them. Big Jank with 3 G's. Big G.
Why
Jank?
Why 3 G's?
I think because like Big Jank was taken and like Big with 2 G's was taken.
Okay,
and then
so
I just like default. I don't know.
3 G's.
I needed to do something. So
All right.
like yeah. And I didn't want to. I don't want to make it too complicated. So
right.
Like just leave it as Big Jank and just double up some of the letters or something. But yeah, Big Jank on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. A goal would be to hit 100,000 followers on Instagram. I think I'm at like 86, 87.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a goal I want to get to.
Okay.
But that's partly why I started doing the basketball challenges.
Right.
Mix it up a little bit.
Get more people. It's very
exactly because football. I mean, is as like because I've done 180, sometimes people can kind of get tired of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's cool until you get stale. Like, everything.
Right.
Eventually, like, it's like, all right, I mean, how many stadiums I got to watch this guy walk into?
Right.
All right, I'll mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, no.
Throw a curveball here and there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, big jank on all those.
Love it. Guys, I mean, you have to, if you're not already following this guy, like, you're really missing out. I mean, I know a lot of you need to laugh more. I mean, this guy is literally the funniest man in Baltimore outside of myself. So it's actually maybe you're the funniest man in Baltimore. I'll give
share it.
I'll give it to you.
It can be a co-title.
Exactly.
Co-funniest.
But in all seriousness, make sure you follow Big Jank, and with 3 G's, not 2 G's, not 1 G's. Look for his content. Like, he's going to be posting a lot of funny videos. Like, go watch that stuff. So, and also make sure to share this episode with somebody. I know a lot of you listening right now like sports, like to laugh. Like, share this episode with your boys. Like, it's not that hard to do. Like, I got Big Jank all the way out here, like 30 minutes away from his house. No, I'm kidding. I would appreciate if you could share this episode with somebody just so that we could grow the show, help Big Jank hit his goal of 100,000 followers by, say, the end of the year. Is that it? Would that be a good goal?
That's too late.
Too late? Too late? Quicker than that?
Let's say by the end of the summer.
End of the summer, 100,000 goals, 100,000 followers. I'm so glad you enjoyed this week's episode of Schmoozing Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. In addition to sharing this episode with someone, make sure you follow on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube Shorts. Also, make sure you're following the show on Apple Podcasts and or Spotify. Until next time, keep schmoozing.